sticker on the side of your boots.
See the same thing.
I like the way you think.
Take a Carnival cruise with that as well.
Carnival cruise. Have a great day, everybody.
See you.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you, and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I am Garrett Weimer, and I am just plugging in my IFB, a little bit behind things here today. But we appreciate you joining us on this Thursday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We do have a lot to get to over this next hour. I want to let you know some of what we have coming up for us here on our stream this morning. We are going to talk with a NASA researcher as they prepare for what they're calling the NISAR mission. Some pretty cool implications for that. And so we had the chance earlier this week to talk to the research scientist, the program leader about this, and some really cool stuff. So we're going to have that conversation coming up for you in just a little bit. We are also going to hear from Congressman Maxwell Frost and some other leaders with March for Our Lives, as they have begun a campaign criticizing current U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. Had some harsh words for her, specifically singling her out for some actions in the aftermath of the Parkland shooting that happened several years ago here in Florida. We are also standing by right now for the start of a news conference in Tampa. In fact, it looks like Dr. Joseph Ladapo has just walked up to the podium. This is in Hillsborough County at the Florida Department of Health, as he's announcing a new initiative, a new weight loss initiative that is funded by the state. Let's go ahead and listen in as the Florida Surgeon General speaks live right now in Tampa.
Promotion and Education Program Manager here at the Florida Department of Health in Hillsborough County, where she leads the team that facilitates the DPP, the inside acronym, which is the Diabetes Prevention Program here in Hillsborough County, and the Diabetes Self-Management Program. So this today is actually something that it started technically in New York. So before I was appointed Surgeon General here, I was a professor at UCLA, and before I was a professor at UCLA, I was a professor at NYU in New York City. And at that time, I partnered with a colleague, another physician who's an obesity expert, named Dr. Melanie J. And Dr. Melanie J at that time, and she's still doing a lot of obesity research, and she's an expert in this area, she had a relationship with WeightWatchers. And Melanie and I have a deep interest in cardiovascular health and fitness and prevention. And Dr. J and I decided to team up, and we wrote an NIH proposal to help people who are low income and obese lose weight. And a component of this proposal involved WeightWatchers and enrollment and WeightWatchers and participation. And that proposal ended up being funded, which is always, you know, it's like you hit the lottery every time a grant is funded usually, because I can't tell you how many grants that are excellent grants are not funded. So we were very happy to receive funding for that work, and we ended up continuing the work in Los Angeles and New York when I moved to UCLA. And actually, we published about a year ago the results of that study in a leading medical journal called JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association, their internal medicine journal, and it was successful. It was very effective. And as I'm not going to be able to survive that. I've got no resistance to auditory distractions. I just won't be able to think right. And is there anything? What can we do about that? Is there an off button somewhere, or a volume button? I see an electric cord. Is it gone? No, it's not gone. It's still there. A little shadow. Phantom Dr. Ladapo. So is it? Okay, cool. All right. Is it gone? Okay, all right. Poltergeist. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what we were saying here. So where was I? So we published the study, and in the course of the study, we worked with WeightWatchers, and just as chance and life and just the sequence of events that is sometimes unpredictable, coming here to Florida, had the pleasure of meeting Michelle Cradell, who's, I don't know her exact title, but she's basically the senior scientist at WeightWatchers. And when I started this role about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and I met with my team and we talked about some ideas, one of the ideas that I had was to somehow expand access to WeightWatchers for people who are in Florida and may not have high incomes and may be interested in losing weight, but not necessarily have the access to something like WeightWatchers, which is absolutely a very effective program. So the team started working, and it leads us to today. So I'm really happy to announce that we are starting a new pilot program where the Florida Department of Health, through the Healthier You initiative, is partnering with WeightWatchers, or WW, forgive me, but that's their new name, but everyone, I'll leave that alone. So is partnering with WW, or formerly known as WeightWatchers, to provide memberships for people, Floridians, in 3 counties. So the 3 counties are Hillsborough County, Leon County, and Palm Beach County. So people who sign up will have access to the basics of WeightWatchers, all of the components that you would normally have access to by just sort of going on your computer and signing up. And that includes everything from their dietary program, their self-monitoring program, which is a really very evidence-based and effective and storied, lots of evidence, lots of history behind it and experience, way of losing weight, just keeping tabs on what you're eating, keeping tabs on your actual weight, keeping tabs on your physical activity. People also have access to 24-hour coaching and recipes, activity trackers, customized food plans. So it's a very evidence-based, but even more than the fact that it's evidence-based, it actually is proven to be effective. These are tools that really do help many people lose weight and different amounts of weight, but often and typically clinically significant weight. So I'm thrilled by it. You know, all of us are very familiar with the pharmacization, if you will, of weight loss currently. And, you know, this is an interesting issue. People have different opinions and different perspectives. My personal perspective is, you know, God bless you, whatever you want to try. But in general, as a sort of representatives of public health, I mean, certainly it is better for us to start by encouraging and supporting people's adoption of healthier habits, because not everybody needs medications to lose weight. You know, maybe it's a change in your diet, reduction in sugar intake, reduction in the sodas, just, you know, taking more steps 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and those can be very, you know, very effective, and they make you feel good, endorphins, all that good stuff. So I'm really happy to announce this, and folks who want to sign up can go to floridahealth.gov/WW, and they can learn about the eligibility. It's very easy. Basically, you need to be an adult and you need to have a BMI over 25, and that's it. So very excited about this, and we're going to be spreading the word and letting more people in Florida know about it, so that folks who are interested in losing weight can sign up. So yeah, just very excited, very, very excited that we're doing this. So with that, I'm going to bring up Dr. Holt. Thank you, Dr. Holt.
Thank you, Dr. Ladapo, and thank all of you here today. Really help us get the word out about this new Florida Department of Health initiative. This is a great program that example of a wellness approach to improve public health that Dr. Ladapo has prioritized as the State Surgeon General. By empowering people to make informed decisions about their health, Florida is going to continue to be the healthiest state in the nation. Hillsborough is very excited to be selected for this important initiative to expand this access to affordable weight management. It will have effects such as reducing the risk of chronic diseases, but also improve the overall health of the individual. This program is designed, again, to improve overall wellness, not just weight loss. It achieves both of our priorities in public health: prevent illness, but promote health. It will prevent many of the illnesses that we know are associated with it: diabetes, type 2, heart disease, stroke, even some cancers. But it's also helping people create long-lasting habits that will lead to a cornerstone of their health. One example of the community that I think will be very valuable, that will be benefited by this, are those in the public that don't have diabetes, but they have prediabetes. They are at risk for that, and 80% of them don't know they're at risk. So, like all county health departments, Florida Department of Health here in Hillsborough, we offer many programs to support our community in developing a healthy lifestyle. So I've asked Kelsey Christian here, who runs our Health Promotion and Education Division, to describe a couple of our programs that I think, combined with this, it really collectively serve great tools to support residents in improving their health. Kelsey?
Hearing from officials speaking at the Florida Department of Health in Hillsborough County, talking about this new state-funded weight loss initiative where they will be providing free WW subscriptions. So that's the previously known as WeightWatchers. That's right now for eligible Floridians in Leon County, so Tallahassee area, Hillsborough, that's in Tampa where they are making that announcement right now, and then also in Palm Beach County as well, all part of the state's chronic disease prevention efforts. We heard from Dr. Ladapo, the Florida Surgeon General, speaking a couple of minutes ago about what he hopes to see come from this, and some local officials speaking as well. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We definitely don't want to go back to Wednesday. Keep moving forward. We're almost to the weekend. We are following a lot of news in the Fox 35 newsroom today. I want to give you an update on a few stories and where things stand here. Start with a story out of Brevard County, where we know 2 people are dead after a triple shooting there that happened overnight. It happened on Washington Street in West Melbourne, and Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie has the latest.
Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey says this is an isolated domestic incident, and they do have a suspect in custody. You can see Washington Street behind me here in Melbourne. They have it roped off, and there are several investigators on the scene still gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses, trying to piece together what led up to this deadly shooting. Now, the sheriff says last night a man ran to get help from a neighbor across the street, saying his wife had been shot. That's when the sheriff says more gunshots were fired, hitting both that man and his neighbor. We heard from another neighbor who says they are heartbroken to hear about the passing of those 2 people.
They were everything to me. They were like second parents to me. That's what hurts the most. They didn't deserve to die like this. You know, they were old, they were living their life.
The sheriff says the neighbor is expected to survive. The husband and wife were killed. The identity of the suspect has not yet been released, nor has a motive been revealed at this time. The sheriff says it will still be a while for them to clear the scene as they piece together what happened here on Washington Street in West Melbourne. Once we learn more, we'll be sure to bring that to you both on air and through our Fox Local app.
We are following up on that story today, and we'll, as Amanda said, have more details on Fox Local and on fox35orlando.com. We're also learning more about a man suspected of being in the country illegally who, according to investigators, led troopers on a chase that ended with a crash into a person's fence. So how did it start? Fox 35's Matt Trezza has those details.
That's the spot where the suspect crashed into the fence, and pieces of the broken fence are still on the ground near the trash cans here. The suspect is 23-year-old Diego Cardenas Osorio. He's booked into the Orange County Jail. He should have his first appearance this afternoon. Florida Highway Patrol says this all started with an investigation into the Tren de Aragua gang. FHP was surveilling a house nearby known to be associated with the gang when they saw Osorio walk out. He had an active warrant for his arrest, and when the trooper tried to make contact, he took off, leading them on a car chase. After crashing the car into a fence, Osorio fled on foot, leaving a female passenger behind. Law enforcement tracked down and arrested Osorio. He's now facing multiple felony charges. Homeowners nearby said they never thought something like this could happen here.
I thought he lived there, but they said no, it was, I guess the guy had panic. He just went in. It was maybe like 8-10 police cars, and we saw the car was coming all the way in.
Osorio's first appearance in Orange County Jail is set for 1 p.m. today. In Orange County, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.
Well, over the past couple of days, we've brought you several sentencing hearings out of Marion County where 3 teenagers were sentenced for their roles in a 2023 Ocklawaha triple murder where 3 other teenagers were killed. Christopher Atkins was 12 years old at the time. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Meanwhile, those other 2 defendants, Taj Bruton and Robert Robinson, they were sentenced yesterday to life in prison. After those sentencings, Fox 35's Marie Ettinger had the chance to catch up with State Attorney Bill Gladson, who talked about this case and prosecuting such young teenagers.
So listen, it was tragic from the beginning. 3 young children lost their lives needlessly, selfishly, from 3 other juveniles who were out up to no good, committing robberies and grand thefts. And it was tragic. It shook the community, as you saw from the last couple days of testimony. There were family members, the courtroom was packed. So, you know, all of that has an impact on a community, like I said, and having watched everybody testify, it's important for prosecutors and for the public and for the family to get their chance to give their say in what the sentence should be. And we're pleased with the sentence that the judge gave each defendant. We think it was appropriate and fair and reasonable. So that's kind of where we are.
What's your message to the Marion County community after this case?
So in this county, with this law enforcement community, we will not tolerate violence from anybody, whether they're juveniles or adults. We have a zero tolerance for that. When we can make a case, we will make a case. And we are going to do everything we can to protect the community so something like this doesn't happen again.
What is it like for you having to go after teenagers? The judge said yesterday that he had not seen a case with a 12-year-old in 35 years.
So, good question. The youngest person that I'm aware of that we have indicted in this circuit was 13 years old. But the way I look at it is, even if you're underage, even if you're a juvenile, if you're committing an adult crime, you should be treated like an adult, because to the victim, it doesn't matter that you were, under 18 at the time you committed a crime. They still suffered from what you did. So that's how I look at it. Of course, we take age into consideration, and you saw that with the sentence yesterday and our recommendation yesterday for the youngest of these three defendants. But the bottom line is 3 people went out and committed 3 cold-blooded murders, and 3 juveniles are now dead because of it.
And again, you can find all of our coverage from those hearings now on fox35orlando.com and in the Fox Local app. The mayor of the city of Deltona hopes that decision makers will pick up the pace on an I-4 project. Let me give you a live look right now. This is
well, it's no surprise that I-4 isn't the favorite of
Marley. We'll get to her in just a second. But here's a live look at I-4 in Lake Mary right now from the view above the Fox 35 studios here in Seminole County. Things moving along pretty well right now. But we do know there are a lot of trouble spots on I-4 and that can cause traffic backups. And one of the places that sees those in Volusia County is Deltona. That's the city that has the largest population in Volusia County. And so the mayor there is hoping that, like I said a minute ago, that officials really will begin to pick up the pace on an I-4 expansion project, because when there are issues with traffic there, people feel it. Fox 35's Marley Capper has the details on what the city wants to see done.
Well, it's no surprise that I-4 isn't the favorite of many Central Floridians here. And as Jessica Dobson has been telling us all morning, there's been a lot of slowdowns in Deltona off of I-4. It could be because of construction, or maybe there was an incident this morning, but it's known to the Florida Department of Transportation. They have a current project that's ongoing called the I-4 Beyond the Ultimate. The whole goal of this is to really improve the flow of traffic and expand the interstate. That means new express lanes, new overpasses, new lanes in general, but it's taking a really long time and people want it done. The Deltona City Commission voted this week to send a letter to the state asking them to fast track the plans to upgrade I-4 in their area. Deltona Mayor tells us the work he wants to see is reconstruction of an overpass and repaving of roads.
Deltona happens to be the second largest Central Florida. We're in Volusia County. We just need that attention to be a little bit focused on us every once in a while.
Now, he is asking FDOT to expedite the process to hopefully make it so that traffic flows more freely and quickly and that people can get to their destinations safer. For now, reporting along I-4, Marley Capper, Fox 35 News.
And as we go to break here on Fox 35 News Plus, give you another view of I-4 here in Seminole County. We're going to take a break, but we will be right back, so keep it here on Fox Local and on YouTube. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner joins me now. And Brooks, we saw more of those downpours yesterday. Now we're settling into to more of a normal pattern, right?
We sure are. It's going to be a very typical July day, Garrett. We're still looking at a pretty decent chance away from the beaches of some thunderstorms this afternoon, but nothing like we've seen over the last couple of days. Right now, it is the lifeguard games on Daytona Beach. You can see all the folks out there. Those are all lifeguards competing from around the state for who is the best lifeguard. A lot of talent out there on the beaches right now. Good day to be at the beach, already up to 86 degrees though. The best chance of rain today will be away from the beach. And with all this talk of heat and humidity and storms, can you believe it? It was 6 months ago this week that we had the snowstorm across Florida in the Panhandle, as well as in parts of the deep south, like around Louisiana, into Texas and Alabama and Mississippi, shutting down I-10 for several days. Amazing. Over 9 inches falling in Pensacola. Not the case today. In fact, the big weather story for us is the heat, and it will be building. Today is going to be a pretty typical July day, but as we head into the weekend, things will start to change. 90 degrees by 2 today, up to about 93 for the high. Our rain chance at 60%. That kicks in between about 3 and 5 p.m. for the best chance for rain. And then this evening after 5 p.m., the best chance will be on the Tampa side of Central Florida. So here's future radar using our exclusive Fox weather model, detailing the first thunderstorms developing around 3 o'clock. Nothing we haven't seen before, also known as a pretty typical July afternoon. We'll then see thunderstorms continuing through at least 5 to 6 around Orlando before the axis of the rain shifts west to provide a pretty decent dinner time soaking for the Tampa Bay region. And then things will quiet down once we hit 9, 10 o'clock, once the heating of the day is lost and the energy in the atmosphere has passed. We'll top out today 93 in Orlando, just 1 degree above normal, 91 in Titusville, and about 94 in Bushnell. But with the humidity, it'll feel like it's more like maybe 105, 106. And then our weather story changes. We start talking about an upper level heat ridge. That's a high pressure zone that exists way up high, not a surface low like the kind we have here in the summertime that keeps it sunny in the morning and keeps our winds pretty much out of the southeast. This low happens above 15,000 feet. And what it does is it produces air that sinks. And as it sinks and does what's called subsidence, it sinks down to the surface, it compresses. And so it will kind of artificially heat an air mass that normally wouldn't be that hot. So if your typical high, like here in Orlando, is 92 this time of year, with the presence of this heat ridge, it can easily warm things up 5 to 8 degrees warmer than they otherwise would be, yielding highs in the upper 90s. So we go from hot to downright intolerable pretty quickly. In fact, that high pressure zone will produce triple-digit heat in parts of the south north of Florida until it finally goes away toward the end of next week with a cooler trough pattern developing across the East Coast. Now, the rain we had yesterday and the day before has now moved out into the Gulf. So here's your tropical update. Yeah, low pressure developed along that front. It's heading toward the west, and there is a chance that this becomes a tropical depression. The National Hurricane Center is saying it's a very outside chance, just a 10% shot, but it's something we're watching as it will, at the very least, bring all the rain together and produce a pretty good dousing in what could be flash flooding where this eventually moves on shore, maybe in Louisiana or even into coastal Texas. We've seen it happen before. And of interest, this disturbance is the same one that brought us the heavy rain last week. At the time, it was called Tropical Wave Invest 93. It worked inland, losing its low pressure, but the water vapor, the tropical air remained, did a big loop-the-loop, came back at us for the last couple of days, producing all that heavy rain. Now that it's back over the Gulf, it actually may develop again. We'll see. Anyway, elsewhere in the tropics, that's no impact to us. We've got a really quiet Caribbean right now. It's very windy down there, so that tears apart systems before they can form. This time of year, it's known as the hurricane graveyard, where if anything was to come across the Atlantic entering the Caribbean, it would likely get torn apart. We've got a couple of tropical waves in the Atlantic right now, but nothing pressing right now. They look impressive, but a lot of thunderstorms, but nothing major. In Africa, nothing major coming off the coast right now. And part of the reason is a lot of dust. The dust is a big factor, very dry air coming in off of the Sahara, traveling across the Atlantic, producing hazy skies all the way here to Florida, traveling over 5,000 miles, but in doing so, pretty much putting a cap on potential development. It won't be until probably the early part of September that the dust really settles. Typically that happens in the middle of August, so that's good news. And that is your tropical update. All right, elsewhere in our forecast, we've got temperatures that are going to be rising. So here's the 7-day outlook. 93 today, 95 tomorrow, and then up to 97 degrees as we get into Sunday with 98 on Monday. We are likely to have heat advisories posted as soon as Saturday, and those will likely continue through at least Monday or Tuesday. And there's even a potential, Garrett, for the next step up. It's called an excessive heat warning. That's when the feels like temperature can surpass 113 degrees. And that would certainly be possible on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, really, especially across north central Florida.
And we thought last weekend was hot.
Yeah. It's very unusual, Garrett, to have more than 1 or 2 heat advisories in a season, and it looks like by the end of this next 7 days, we'll have had a seasonal total of over 6 of them.
Wow. Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Brooks Garner, we appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure as always. Thank you.
And as we go to break here, we will give you a live look at Daytona Beach from our Hard Rock Hotel camera. What you're seeing there happening on the beach, the lifeguard competitions are continuing at this hour. A good day for it. And a good day to be out at the beach. Sounds like we're going to have several good days to be out at the beach with this heat and humidity that Brooks was talking about. Keep it right here on Fox Local. More to come after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. The group March for Our Lives has launched a new campaign against Attorney General Pam Bondi. March for Our Lives is the student-led organization that was formed in the aftermath of the 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. And this group has made a number of pushes over the years for gun safety, certain restrictions as well. But now they are, as I said, launching this movement, this effort against the U.S. Attorney General, claiming that Bondi exploited the 2018 Parkland shooting to advance her political career, and saying that they believe she betrayed every promise she made to survivors and to grieving families. I want to play for you part of a news conference, a virtual news conference held by this organization. You'll hear from Jackie Corn and David Hogg, co-founders of March for Our Lives, and Congressman Maxwell Frost, a Democrat from Orlando, who spoke during that event as well.
Now, Pam Bondi isn't just another politician who disappoints us. She's someone who has looked me personally in the eyes after the worst day of my life and made promises she obviously never intended to keep. I remember meeting with her a week after the shooting. I met with her with a bunch of other survivors, pleading with her to do something. And behind those closed doors, she was dismissive and cold, touting a rehearsed PR school safety message that didn't address the real problem, which is, of course, the gun. But the moments the cameras were rolling, she promised action. She vowed to find common ground and support policies that would prevent future tragedies. And for a brief moment, she actually delivered. Bondi actively supported Florida's gun safety legislation after Parkland, again, talking about finding common ground and even defending those laws in court. She used our pain to build her credibility as someone who could bridge divides on gun safety. But we realize now that it was all political theater. She may have claimed Parkland loudly when it was politically convenient, but she's now become the most deadly and dangerous attorney general on guns in modern history.
Look, I don't just speak to this issue as a member of Congress, but I speak to this issue as someone who's been working to end gun violence since I was 15 years old because I didn't want to get shot. Because I didn't want to get shot in school, on my block. And 10 years later, over 10 years later, now being in Congress, I'm so proud that for the first time, the gun violence prevention movement is stronger than the gun lobby. And it has been for a few years because of advocates and organizers, just like people in March for Our Lives, who have been fighting to ensure that we have safer gun laws in this country, that we fund community violence intervention in this country, and we do what we need to do to keep our people safe and put our children and put our people on top of the profits of the gun lobby. Now we have someone like Pam Bondi in a position where she blatantly lied to survivors in the state of Florida. She blatantly lied to her constituents in the state of Florida, used the tears and the pain of survivors and victims and families to make it seem like she was someone who you could find common ground with. And then when she's put in a position where she has the most political power that she's ever had in her entire life, she completely betrays these families, these constituents, and betrays our entire country. The things that were pushed in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was the first piece of gun violence legislation passed in 30 years, that would not have happened if it wasn't for the people on this call, people like Trey, like Manny, like David, like Jackie, like the organizers, like the survivors across the country. That bill would not have passed if it wasn't for them and our movement. And now she's doing everything she can to undermine the steps that our country took forward to end gun violence and the steps that are working. Over the past 3 years, the United States of America has seen the largest decrease in gun violence that we've ever seen in our nation's history. This year, we are predicted to see a 20% decrease in homicides by gun than what we saw last year because the laws work, because funding community violence intervention works. And now, Pam Bondi, a person who looked survivors in the eyes and told them, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we find common ground, is doing the exact opposite, undermining the ATF, undermining the laws that were passed before, undermining the laws that keep people safe and get people who are selling guns illegally off the streets. This is the kind of stuff that she used to campaign on. This is the kind of stuff that I thought the Republican Party used to be for. The fact of the matter is any law, any action that hurts the bottom line of the mega corporations that are the gun manufacturers is unacceptable to Donald Trump, and now is unacceptable to Pam Bondi. And that's why I am very honored to be here to support March for Our Lives in their effort. We have to continue to build the political will necessary to protect Americans from gun violence. And that includes holding leaders accountable when they betray survivors and the communities that they claim to support. And this campaign will do that very thing across the entire nation. I'm really proud of March for Our Lives for putting together this campaign because it hits the moment that we're in. Of course, it's about Trump. Of course, it's about a Republican Congress that says they're pro-life and does nothing about keeping the baby safe once they're born. But it's also about looking our leaders in the eyes who have the power to do something now. and the Attorney General is that person.
Like Jackie said, we were at school that day in Parkland, and that's when a lot of the co-founders of March for Our Lives met with Bondi the next day. In those days after the shooting, when many of the students were still grieving, Bondi made us believe that she would help. She promised to support policies that would prevent future tragedies like what happened in Parkland. She talked about finding common ground. For a moment, we actually had hope that something good could come from the worst day of our lives. And she actually followed through at first, supporting Florida's gun safety laws, defending them in court. But now we really see it for what it was, a political calculation. At the moment that she was doing that, it became, it was convenient for her, but now it's inconvenient. She's since abandoned everything that she has promised us. Every commitment that she's made to protect future parklands, to prevent future parklands from happening, she's now systematically destroying. And this campaign, it's about more than just Pam Bondi. It's about showing about what happens when you exploit survivors and break promises that you made for only your own gain. We're making sure every politician knows that there are consequences for that type of betrayal. 7 years ago, Pam Bondi looked at us in the eye and promised us to help prevent the next tragedy. And now she's enabling it. This campaign ensures that she never escapes that betrayal. And that's why we've created the Parkland Pam campaign and why it starts today. And as one final point that I want to really emphasize on this is just alone the work that she has done to gut funding to community violence intervention programs is horrifying. Because those programs, they don't even have to do with gun laws in the first place. They actively work to invest in communities to prevent shootings before they happen. That helps to save the US government millions and millions of dollars upfront by preventing shootings before they happen. And we've seen the dramatic impact that they have had in many cities like Baltimore, Los Angeles, and other cities around the country that have received millions of dollars in funding to fund programs that are targeted at working with at-risk individuals before they pick up a gun so that they don't feel the need to pick up a gun in the first place. But instead, Pam Bondi has chosen to go back to a 20th century playbook that we know does not work, which is only addressing gun violence after it happens. Not to mention the fact she is enabling criminals to go out there and do things like gun trafficking. She's enabling bad apple gun dealers to get away with being, increasingly underregulated. And this is not going to help protect any American. This is only going to endanger them at the end of the day. And it is absolutely ridiculous that she is doing this, not only because of the betrayal of the community in Parkland and Floridians at large, but the betrayal of the American people by going against policies that were passed in a bipartisan fashion through things like the Safer Communities Act that we know work and are saving not only lives, but millions and millions of dollars in taxpayer money that does not have to go towards investigating shootings because there are increasingly fewer and fewer of them happening in the first place.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus, and following some breaking news, reporting from TMZ and TMZ Sports reporting that Hulk Hogan, the pro wrestling icon and legend, has died at the age of 71. Obviously, this is a story we will continue to follow as it develops, but again, that is reporting from TMZ at this hour. We are also learning more about an upcoming NASA mission. NASA is launching a new satellite by the end of the month, targeting July 30th for that launch. It's a partnership between the United States and India, and this is called the NISAR mission. It's going to collect high-resolution data of the Earth's land and ice surfaces. It has the most advanced radar system that's ever launched, 80 terabytes of data every day. It's also going to, according to those with the project, they say it's really going to help decision makers when it comes to studying volcanoes, earthquakes, land movement, and how governments and organizations can manage how that motion, the earth and land motion, can impact man-made infrastructure, such as buildings and other things like that. Now, earlier this week, I had the chance to speak with Dr. Marco Lavala. He's the NASA JPL Deputy Project Scientist for this NISAR mission to talk about how it came together and what they're most excited for with this launch and with this project.
Hi, thanks for having me. NISAR is one of the most advanced Earth-observing satellite ever built. It will launch on July 30th from India. It is a partnership between NASA and the Indian Space Research Organization. It has been about 10 years in the making, so we're really excited to see the launch very, very soon. It is a satellite that will observe all land and ice cover surfaces to understand how they change over time and spatially because of natural processes or human activities. So we're really, really ready to analyze the data to understand our planet better.
Why is that so important? Why is this data, how is this data going to be so helpful?
That's right. So all the data from NISAR will basically benefit all sort of different applications and science. So our planet changes daily in all sort of ways. So we are going to be observing earthquakes, volcanoes, how coastline are receding, glaciers, ecosystems, all sort of different types of ecosystems from dense forest to wetlands or croplands. And so this is really important to understand not only how our planet is changing to act on time to sort of manage our resources, but also to respond to, for example, emergencies. Think about landslides or flooding that occurred, for example, in Texas not long ago. So these are all things that NISAR will observe and will be able to address and give data that can be used by scientists or emergency planners to do a better job, basically, in responding to emergencies.
We know a lot of work has gone into this before now. Now you're just over a week away from this